Hi guys, it's Jamie here, and in the next 30 minutes or so I'm going to show you everything that went into making this little project, which you can make in under 2 hours. It's a weekend or special occasion journal, and inside you have a little notebook, you have removable tags, you've got pockets, you've got an actual removable notebook, more tags, more bits and surprises. I think it's super cute. And if you want to see how to make this really quickly, really simply, maybe even do lots and lots of them, just keep watching. I have a lot of cardstock from when I used to make greetings cards, and some of it is 15 years old. So I have decided to see if it's possible to make a mini journal in a day. And by a mini journal, I mean something that would be given to someone who's got a special event, a long weekend coming up, whether that's a wedding, whether it's a city break, a Thanksgiving weekend, that type of thing. Here's a piece of 12 by 12 cardstock. I'm going to cut it down a little bit, cutting 10 centimetres. I will work that out for the inches, guys, in a minute. Off the bottom. 10 centimetres is, let me just tell the inches, guys, what 10 centimetres is. 4 inches. Then what I was going to do was fold it into a tri-fold, something you can potentially put in a handbag. I don't want this bit wrapping round. Line this up against a line here and then fold, and then bring this one up, fold again. We actually have a little folded envelope stroke journal. If you wanted to, you could make this into a file folder. We don't really have those in the UK, and I know they're very popular in America. I've punched out a file tab. 2 ways you can possibly do this. You could either just add one to the outside, like this, or if you wanted this even thinner, you could just take half of this and then draw around it, cut out a new line and create an integrated tab. I have to decide whether I want to do anything to the outside of this or whether I'm perfectly happy with it as it is. It's already decorated. I don't think, apart from maybe this edge, yeah, I might add something to this edge, but I'm not going to add anything to this edge apart from this. What do I want to do with this edge? I'm bringing over my scrap box to see. Ooh, a bit of ephemera that's going to look really cool. I'm going to back this and put it in there. I found this in the scrap box, and if I don't tear it and actually keep a straight edge for once, you could just get a little bit of this roses, maybe ink up this edge, keep some of these roses in, still make sure that you get all the words in, and a little bit of these chocolate flowers which go with the chocolate in the cover. So I don't think it's too dissimilar. I'm going to do this on the 10mm. You do not have to round those off. It is just purely personal preference. In my scrap box, I do have a lot of these coffee stained papers from a gardening book. And although I want this to be a piece of ephemera that you might be able to write on, if I go to the top of this area and glue it on, you are going to have some blank areas to write on, but it's matching the garden, if you can call it a garden, theme. For the long edges, I'll use my big scissors. For the short edges, I will use my finer crafting scissors. For me, is always the tricky bit, trying to get a circular shape to stay circular. Does anyone else struggle with that, or is it just me? That's one piece of ephemera for this project completed. My initial feeling about the inside of this is actually to line it, And I might line it in strips rather than all across, because I don't want issues with bending and things. All I'm doing is folding it to get my cutting line. And this is my coffee stained paper, which still smells of coffee weeks and weeks later. So if you don't like the smell of coffee, this process isn't for you. Now I've got my 3 pieces of paper cut, slightly torn up from one piece of A4. I'm going to ink the edges, and then where the paper doesn't meet, so you would see a flash of white, I'm going to smudge some ink into this background. Let's ink the edges first. Here, just doing a circular motion around the edges so that white paper doesn't show through where the coffee paper doesn't quite meet. When you stick this in place, just smooth it down because you don't want too many wrinkles or anything. Even though you may be decorating it, there may be journaling spots on here. We don't know yet. Now all of that's glued down, it's just a question of trimming off some of this excess and just inking along the new clean edges. It is time to do the fun bit, which is inserts and decorations. Now this is more what you're used to seeing on my desk, a big old mess as I sort things out. This book that I coffee stained up is probably ideal for this little project. I am looking for anything of similar colours and potentially with a gardening theme or gardens theme to add to this little weekend book. I really like this, and my first thought with this is notebook cover. And I know this is a notebook, but like a little insert notebook. And if I folded that in half, because it is obviously a picture of a book at some point, it will actually fit, if I do a little notebook, in this back page. I'm going to rip this up and do that. So now the old ink it up. For the actual little notebook itself, these pieces were in the scrap box, so I am simply going to tear one set down to fit. Oh, I think they may actually fit inside the cover already, so it would just be this edge that is slightly over. And yet again, more inking of edges. We could make a little signature for this. Fold that one in half, these in half. Quite a straight little edge, isn't it? Give it a bit of ink, make it look a bit older. Put that one over those. They don't even all have to be at the same level when we actually come to put them in. You can have them at different levels. Look at that. You now have a proper little notebook ready to go inside here. I'm going to do 3 holes, so it's a 3-stitch process. I can't remember what the proper name for it is. That's roughly the centre, and I'm going to skewer that through there. Then I'm going to go up here. Not, will everything catch? That's what I need to make sure. Some of these won't catch unless I go very close. I can do that. We can do just little stitches. Why not? Try that. I have some wax thread, which is just a little bit stiffer for getting through holes and things. And I can't remember, this is a blunt needle. I don't know what you use it for, but I've been using it for these. And then all we're going to do is, hopefully this won't have moved too much, is go through this hole, then up to the top one or down to the bottom, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to turn that over so I can see what I'm doing. Then down to the bottom. And then up through the middle. Then I tend to go under before I tie. They're still on the opposite sides, but it just means that I've already started to get a bit of a knot into it. And then I do, normally, there is no rule I think on this, or there might be. 1, go the opposite way. If that's the opposite way, I'm never sure. 2, and then sometimes I do a 3rd for luck, but this is just a little notebook, so I'm not going to worry about that. And then cut those strings, and we are done. We have our second piece of ephemera for our quick little project. And then what you can do is, this is what I use as my bone folder. You might have wanted to do this before you did this, but just push it down so that it's got a nice sharp and it sits together better. Look at that, how sweet is that? So cute. Because I always like to do a little bit more, I am going to, even though this is a very, very basic notebook, I'm going to add some ink stamp decorations to every page, whether it's a tiny little flower or a label, and just go through it and just add a tiny bit of decoration, because then it's just more of a surprise when you open it. This little booklet's now done, and every single page has something of interest on it. And I was thinking the quickest way to get this into here is not to necessarily make a pocket, but to have one that's ready made, which would be this envelope. And I am going to grab my little ruler and tear it along that way. And now I have a ready-made little pocket for the booklet, and I also have bonus, another one for this side, and extra bonus. I chomped this off, and there must be a way that I can make that a corner tuck. The quickest way to be able to, sorry, I just need to slurp my coffee. The quickest way to decorate this is going to be using all these bits of this pre-dyed book that I've just torn about, and it will give it automatically a theme because it's all from the same book. Obviously anything that's been cut down, get the old ink out again. I meant to mention that on the little stamps of the plants I used the Tim Holtz Distress Ink peeled paint. Just remember, if you're just starting out, you do not have to buy these expensive ink stamps to be able to do this. I've only got 2 Tim Holtz Distress Inks, and I've now used both of them in this project. So the way I'm going to do this is straightforward enough. Just inked up again, edges of everything. Give it a bit of an agey look, age it a bit more if you want. That's going to be glued down to the back of there. I am going to take some of these pictures. That one goes that way, and leaving a little bit here, tear this edge. We could use that bit of scrap from that bit. And I'm throwing that down on here, quite like that little tear, so I might try and keep that. Then the envelope that's going on there will go there. So as you can see, you can only see bits of green behind that, not a huge amount. I want something on here. Got some little steps. I don't want to cover the whole envelope. Put little steps in there. Just put those there. And that means when you remove the journal from the little envelope, you have a little something extra to look at. You could just put one little planty thing on this. There. No, still not happy with that. How about there? Yeah, I wanted it to meet there, but now of course I've got this huge border. I might end up collaging this after all. As far as I'm concerned, that is that pocket done. I've just inked around the edges of that picture that I tore up. I am now just going to stick this in, give it a bit more glue because it will be holding that notebook. Pop that down around there. I'm happy with that, and then push it down. Look for that bone folder tool. That's the dog, because he's come in and now he wants to go out and the door shuts on him, and this happens on a regular basis. I'm just going to push that very, very hard down on there and then let the dog out because he's crying. I'm not feeling any great need to do any more to this. It's a weekend journal or a special occasions journal. I don't want to overfill it. Therefore, we're going to move on to this bit now and probably do very similar idea. I'm feeling it's a little too green, if there is such a thing. I found this scrap, which is, I think, from this anyway. And I am going to, I mean, this is personal preference. You wouldn't have to do this if you didn't want to, but I'm going to lay that down there. I think that works for me. Also, there's a line here, and it's going to help vaguely, not 100%, break up that line. And I'm going to put the pocket slightly higher than this pocket, maybe, or maybe not. I think I will go down. And to put this on, I am going to use, rather than the glue stick, some of this double-sided tape, because I want to get a very thin line here and a very thin line here. For getting this off, I think a sharper object helps. I'm just looking for not those. These, you could do it with the scissors as well. It's not quite as easy with the scissors. But having said that, I'm probably going to struggle to do it even with these. I just got it then, it went down again. There we go. You could get some little bits like this in here though. So I'm going to back some little bits with card or paper. I'm just looking to see what I've got here. I've got some scrappy paper there. So I will back some of these little pieces next to make little tucks, little things to go in that pocket. These revision card things, they will tuck that way. But if I cover them both sides with cheap white paper, it will take off some of that print because I will be collaging or adding decoration. Here's where I'm up to. These cards were covered initially in copy paper, white copy paper. Then on the reverse, I've just put some of my coffee stained paper. And on this side, which is the bit we'll be collaging on, I've just put some old book page, which I'm now going to trim down, ink the edges, and then we can move on with the collage. Everything's now nice and dry. And there are now 4 layers of paper on here. So that's really, really stiffened these up and made them very, very card-like. On this one, I saw this image, which I absolutely love. And I'm thinking that maybe all I need to do to decorate these, having inked the edges, is for this one anyway, just tear into this tree and see how it looks. So if I fold them over, it will give me the impression of how it would look. And then you just have a little bit of that down there. See, to me it's more natural to have print at the top, but maybe there's something you could put here. I'm going to give that a go. If it doesn't work out, you can just cover it over. Could do that like it's a little fence. It's quite cute. It's a bit stark though in comparison to the image that's there. Does it need some drama? What do I have that might add to this? I mean, we have these tag-like things. You could maybe even put a brad in that and have a movable, if you backed it, a movable tab. Right, back this with what? I feel it should be something a bit stiffer than I have been using. Now I've got this envelope, which I could just open out. I think this is a bit stiffer. Just stick a hole in it and then, well, together, and then do a little bit of string or something. I have some embroidery thread here. Through that, those ends, through that to make a tie, and it moves. Oh, I like that. So that was purely accidental, but I do like it. That will sit in there. Tuck it in. Yay, one done with some nice little threads. I like that so far. And what are we going to do on this one? I want to make them all a little bit different. I do actually have some proper papers. Should I use those? Like I've got this sort of thing. Put those herbs on here, not in the centre, but slightly to one side. Let's have a look, see how that looks. Yeah, lovely. I think what I want to do next is have a sticker or something that comes up through this. So this becomes the background. Oh, I've got a circle. I wonder if I've got anything that will go in the circle or have the circle as part of the background. I wanted something bright like this one and big. Oh yeah, look at that. So my thoughts are ink this bit, of course. Stick this down. But while I've got the inky thing in my hand, go over the edges of this. Not all of it, just the edges where it's particularly white. Putting this behind this means this pops more. It's just the tiniest little bit sticking up there. That is a beautiful journaling spot, I think. And then we just want one more. Want it to look a little bit different to the other two, but not hugely, because we want it to stick with the theme. So I think this time we might go for putting the whole doily down as the background. Just thinking. Oh, I've got that strip still that I wasn't sure about. I am thinking put the fuchsia on here, but maybe give them a little something up here. Pull that over there. You see, that's now all blending in beautifully, isn't it? It's quite dark against that, isn't it? I'm not sure. I have other things. Let's just put that down there. Got a rabbit. Oh, got a bee. Bee and catnip. Ah, still need something there then. Ah, how about a bit of different script? Let's get that on. It's a little odd, but I think it would work. We now have 3 journaling cards to go into our little weekend away journal. And that's fattened that up a lot. Yeah, can't get much more in there, I don't think. Here's what I'm thinking for this page. A little bit of this and then actually this, and you would, I think, be able to read most of that. How are we doing now? I do like the singular rows. May not be the best decision, but I like the simplicity of it, and it just gives it a little something. I've had a little think about this corner here, and what I'm going to do is staple these little scraps of paper together, put this one over it so it covers the staple, maybe even glue that to it so everything's kind of hidden, and possibly again just use a clip to secure that onto there, and it's another takeaway little journaling spot. Let's see if it will go through all of that lot, because there's quite a bit there, and I should really try and get them all to the top, so where I staple them they are all together. Okay, that one's done. Glue that one onto there, leave that loose, and you could even, oh no, if you leave that one loose you could hook it over, aha, and just maybe put a little bit of washi on that so you can't catch your fingers. Do I want to just decorate that little thing with a sticker of some sort? Quick decoration technique there. Makes a nice little booklet of little extra papers. You could again stamp through or sticker onto each one of these papers. I might this time leave those plain because I've already done that once. To make sure the washi tape stays put, I will probably run it across the Pritt stick, because washi tape is not sticky, it's removable. It will cover up those staples. Now all that's needed is potentially a couple more of those just to tuck under there. I just quickly made these, so some of those bits cut from that book, backed with coffee stained paper, a couple of rounded edges, one that was already in a shape. I'm going to pop them, one in here, and then I'll have one in here and one under this one. And that, I think, is pretty full. Next stage is closing it. For closures, we're going to keep it really simple with just a piece of this. I don't know if it's ribbon or hessian or what it is. I mean, it's fancier than just plain hessian, but you can wrap it round and round and tuck it under, or you can tie a bow. Up to you. I'm going to go with, I'm not sure, I was going to tie a bow and now I'm wrapping it round, but anyway, a nice big piece makes it hugely secure. Because this is just a long weekend type journal or a special occasion journal, once this journal's finished with, it can be filed and this can be reused because we haven't actually attached it to the project itself. Thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget, if you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what sort of videos you want from me. I'm busy making lots and lots of different ones, but I'm not so sure which are the most popular. So stick a comment down below, let me know, and I will see you next time.